Hey there, Titans. In this video, I'll show you how to set up the Salesforce side of the Titan push notification. And in this video, we'll see how to do it in an advanced way. So the advanced push notification will give you option to set actions on the notification. So let's say someone gets a notification, you can click on an action and go to a URL and stuff like that. All right, so let me show you the schema pretty much how this thing works, and you can change it around however you like, but the core concept of this, you have two things, two Apex defined variables that you need to set. So the first one is the notification itself, and then you're going to have a collection of notification. So because our Apex action basically receives a collection of notification, and you have also an action, again Apex defined variable, and you can have a few actions, so you can create however many actions you like. Obviously more than 3 or 4 it doesn't make any sense, but whatever. Let's say you have 2 actions or 3 actions, and then you will basically assign this to an action list, and then you can put it on the notification object, and we'll dive right into it in just a moment. So in this flow, what I have here is a opportunity was updated. It goes, it sets the actions, it gets all the contacts from that account, and it loops over them, creates the assignments, creates the notification object, assign the notification into a collection of notifications, and when the loop is done, we're calling the Apex action from Titan and the push advanced, and basically we're giving Titan the list of notification that we want to send to all these contacts. All right, so let's see how we can make this happen. So let's head over to our flow builder. We'll open this up. Let's do, you can do a record trigger flow, you can do auto launch, whatever it is you want. Let's do auto launch for this purpose. And what we will ask here is a new resource. First of all, we want to get a variable. We're going to call this account ID. All right, and this one we're basically going to receive from the process builder. So what we're going to say is allow for input, and we'll hit done. And our next resource, before we start with the resources, let me just show you our final action. So if I put the action here and I go to Titan and I see send advanced push notification. So the send push notification we covered. This is very simple. We shot a video of this earlier, and we're going to click send advanced push notification, and let's see what it wants. All right, so let's give this send push advanced. All right, so what it wants is a list of notifications, and this is an Apex defined variable. Right now I'm not going to include it until we finish our flow here. All right, so we're just going to put it out here. This is where we want to get to after everything is done. So let's start. What we want to do is like this. Let's start with let's get our records. All right, so what we want to get is all the contacts that are related to that account. So let's head to our options here, and what we're going to say, get records. I'm going to drop this on the screen. We'll say get the account contacts. All right, and we will say, oops, I've done create records. We want to get records. Okay, so again, get the account contacts. All right, so object is contact, and my condition is fairly simple. So the account ID on the contact object equals my variable, which I will receive from the process builder in this instance. And again, this can be a record, change flow, whatever it is you decide. Power is up to you. So we will select the account ID, and now we're going to say give me all records, and we can leave this option automatically store all fields. Again, I'm not a flow expert, but you can set this manually. You have a bunch of options here. I'm sure you can do it better than I do it. All right, so let's select this and we'll hit done. And now we have all of our records. Now let's connect this first. All right, start connecting the dots. Now after this, basically if I go back to my option here, I want to set the assignments. I want to set the actions. All right, so let's create an action here. Let's create 2 actions. All right, so I'm going to go back to the flow builder. I'll get rid of this. Let's set the actions first, and we can customize the actions within the loop as well. In this instance, I'm just going to do it very simple. So let's head back to our manager, add some new resources. All right, so our first resource will be a variable called action. Let's do first action. Okay, this will be 1 action, and we'll select the data type. We'll say apex defined, and we're going to say form builder notification action structure. This is what we want. All right, and we're not going to allow multiple values. We're just going to hit done, and we will create another one just like this, and we're going to call this again variable. We're going to say second action, sorry. And again, data type apex defined, and we're going to say notification action structure. All right, again, this is not a collection. Now we're going to head over and do the same thing again. This time we're going to do action collection. So we'll do action list, and we're going to say allow multiple values collection, and what we're going to say is apex defined, and again our notification action structure. We'll hit done. Now what we want to do is assign these values. So we're going to head over to elements, and we're going to say assignment, and what we will say here, assign the actions, and we'll select a variable. We'll say first action, and now look what we have. You will have 4 options here. So the action is basically the name of the action. The icon is an icon that will show. In some devices it does, some devices it doesn't. We have a title, we have the FT URL. So the title is basically what text will show on the action, and the icon is again an image that might show on some devices, and action is the name of it, and the FT URL is when the user clicks, it will go to a URL. It doesn't have to be a form titan URL, but it makes sense that if you get a notification for form titan, you want to pass it on to the user, and you can create a formula here saying concatenate this and this URL and pass it to the user. In our instance, I'm just going to do it very simple. So the action name will be first, and this can be dynamic if you loop it from the contact. And again, I'm sure you can do it a lot better than I do it. But let's go back to our first action. We'll set it up. So we have the action FT URL. Let's give my let's publish this guy, and again you can create this with a dynamic formula. No, let's set this up as a dynamic form. So let's just show you the whole thing if we're already here. All right, so let's I'll create a new form real quick. And what this form will do is we're just going to do it really quickly, and we're just going to say text box count name, and let's show the rating. So let's do another text box and do count rating. What we will do is pass a hidden over here and say ACC ID, and let's just set our get real quick. Set get, add object, count, get account by ID, and our condition is very simple. Set condition count ID equals my ACC ID hidden, And I will map the fields and say account name equals the account name. And rating equals my rating. All right, let's apply and finish. Save the form, and we'll put it aside. What we want to do with this is publish it and say pass an URL with the account ID. So we'll say FLD4, like so, equals the ACC ID, which we'll pass in from the form. So let's see how we can get this done. So we'll go back to our flow here, and what we will do is manager, new resource. Let's create a variable. Let's create a formula, and what we're gonna say is action. Let's say first action link. All right, that will be the link to our form. And what we will say here, the data type is text, and we're gonna paste in our URL. Instead of equals ACC ID, we're gonna find our resource account ID, and we pasted it in. All right, so this should be our URL, and you can customize it for the second actions, and you can do a lot with it. All right, let's hit done, and let's head back and set our assignment. So we'll go to our assignment. I'm gonna say assign the actions, and let's select our variable. So first action, the action is view the account, and let's add a few more assignments. And first action, and we'll do FTURL equals our first action link, and I'm going to do the same for the second action, but it's just for demo purposes, and you obviously should create different actions for different behaviors, but in our instance it will be the same one. Okay, so we'll go back to my first action and set the icon. You need to pass in a URL. Let's just grab this. Anyways, on my Mac it doesn't show, so it doesn't make a difference. I'll go back to my settings here, and first action, and the title. So this will be view account. And the cool thing about this, you can add like emoji. So let me just grab an emoji, and I'll paste my emoji in here. And let's set our second action. So second action, and we'll say actioned, we'll say something else, and second action FTURL. Let's just redirect this one to formtitan.com, and we'll add another assignment. And again, this obviously will create a different formula with whatever it is you want to pass in. And then we'll say second action title, we'll say other action, great. And last thing is second action, and we can pass in an icon as well. So let's just pass in the same icon, and we'll hit done. Now we have our assignment for the for the actions. Now what we need to do is, let's just do push notifications, let's do Titan, advanced. All right, we'll save this just to make sure this doesn't go away. I'm going to have issues because nothing is connected. So let's say first of all we're going to assign the actions. All right. Second thing we need to do is another assignment. Add these actions to a collection. So we're going to do add actions to the collection of actions, and we're going to select a variable and say action list add first action, and I'm going to add another assignment, and I'm going to say action list add second action. All right, so we have first action, second action. We're adding both of them to the action list, and we'll hit done. So we will connect this. Let's just move this down. All right, so we have our actions set up. Wonderful. Let me just try and move this here. All right, so after we have our actions set up, let's start dealing with the contacts. So to remind you, what we want to do is loop over the contacts, whatever is related to that account. We want to grab them, and we want to send push notification if the PN oath is there on the contact. All right, so what I'm going to do is a loop, and I'm going to say loop over the contacts. Great. Search our collection variable, and we want the contact from get account contacts. All right, and first item to last item, that's fine. We'll hit done, and that's great. All right, so let me just connect the loop. And what we will do with the loop is create our next few fun things. So our first resource will be the variable. We'll say notification, and the data type will be apex defined, and we're not going to allow multiple values on this one. We're going to create that one in just a minute, and what we're going to say is push notification structure, and we'll hit done. All right, so this is one. Now we need a collection of notifications, since our action send push advance takes a collection of notifications. So we're going to create a new resource, and we're going to say a variable. We're going to say notification Mr. O, notification list, and data type apex defined, and obviously allow multiple values, and we're going to say push notification structure. Done. And now let's head to our assignment. All right, so we're going to go to our assignment. We're going to put it over here. We're going to say assign notification. All right, let's select our variable. What we're going to say is notification apex defined, what we just set up, and now we have a bunch of options here. So what we've seen in the previous videos, we covered what the batch is, the body. So let's just give a quick explanation on this. So the title is mandatory. You have to put it in. The PNOs is mandatory, and the body of the notification is mandatory. So these three we have to put in. Badge is just an image of if your image is too large to show on some devices, then it will use the badge. It's basically a URL for an image. Same thing with the icon. Same thing with the image. It's a URL for an image, which will show, usually your icon will show on all devices, unless again the icon is too big or something like that. What else didn't cover is a required interaction, which means that once the notification shows, it will not go away from the screen until the user interacts with it, clicks on it, does something with it. And what we've gathered here for is these actions. So what we want to see is we see that the notification receives a list of actions. We have a list of actions since we defined it before. So we have action list, which we just assigned, and now let's move on to assign the regular notification stuff. So let's say let's say our notification object here. So we're going to go to the notification apex define, and I'm going to say body. Let's equal this to the contact that we're looping on. So we'll say contact. Okay, loop over the contacts. This is our variable from the loop, and we're going to say let's do last name. All right, there it is. So that will be the body. You know what? Let's save this for the title. So this one will be contact from the loop. Give me the account ID dot rating. Okay, we want to show the rating, and you can create a formula here showing the rating. Let's just show the rating as it is. You can create a custom message of showing you how to do it with the other one as well. All right, so we have the rating in the body. Let's put our next variable to the notification, and we're gonna say title equals, let's say, contact, what we've done before, the contact last name, and notification PN oath, which again is required. We're going to go to the contact.pn oath, which is I've explained in the previous videos. It's just the push notification token, authorization token that we get from Titan when we set it up, and it has to be a long text area with at least 1500 characters in it. All right, let's add some more assignments here. So I'm going to do notification, and let's just set the require interaction to true, and that's the only thing we have left to do. We have other options here. Let's just set the icon. All right, let's grab our icon from over here. It's our avatar. Let's grab it into here, and I think we've done enough. You have other variables here as well. Again, you can set them up however you like. Let's just make sure we have the basics. So we have the body, we have the title, we have the oath, we have the interaction and the icon, and we have the list of actions. All right, we'll hit done. And what we will do is add another assignment just to push this notification to the list. So we'll do push notification to notification list. All right, and what this will do is simple assignment. We're going to say notification list and my notification, which we have just assigned that before, and we'll hit done. And now let's connect the dots. So what we want to do, we want to loop for each item in collection, and after we build the notification, we want to push it into the list, and then we want to return it back to the loop. Once everything is done, and what we're going to do is connect the loop to our action, and that will happen after the last item. So if I'll go into that action, I'll say obviously include notifications, because otherwise none of that will work, and I'm going to say notification list, which we've built over here, and all this magic hopefully is going to work. So let's see how we can invoke this. Let's hit save. All right, let's fix the formula. All right, forgot something simple, just to put this in quotes so the formula can work properly. All right, so we've saved this. Now we want to launch this. So since it's an auto launch flow and it's not triggered by the record change, we need to invoke it from somewhere. It can be from Apex. We can invoke it from a process builder, and we can run it directly from here and put in the inputs and see what happens. One thing I just want to make sure that the records we're getting, we need to have another very important condition saying that the PN oath, let's look for the PN oath. All right, we're gonna say, let me just refresh my flow here. I'll save this. Let's refresh it just to get the field. So basically what I want to say, I have a checkbox here. Since I cannot, on the get records, I cannot make a condition on the PN oath. I have a checkbox here saying if the PN oath is there, then it's checked. You can do it from Titan, you can do it from a process builder here saying if this is not empty, then check it, and if it's empty, uncheck it, etc. Or you can do it from a decision within the loop. In my instance, I'm just gonna do it real quick and do is PNOth equals true. Hit done. So I'm not going to get any records without the PNOth, and hit save. Now the last thing we have to do is activate this thing and see if it works. Okay, so basically what you will usually do, either like we said before, this is an auto launch flow. We can either invoke it from the from process builder or from code. You would go set a process builder, make your conditions there, just send the account ID onto the flow. We can do this in a minute. Let's just run a quick debug on this. And what I'm going to do is grab an account just to illustrate what's happening, and I'll head back to my debug, put in my account ID just to debug the flow, make sure it works. I'll run this, and I see that it looped, it did everything it's supposed to do, and I got the donkey, this is the last name of that user, and the rating of that account. Now let's check out this amazing thing. So basically it requires user interaction so it doesn't go away, and if I'll click more, you can see your action. So if I'll click the view actions, if we remembered we set up a formula field to direct to the form with the account ID, if I'll click this, you'll see it opens immediately with that account ID, and just imagine the possibilities here, what you can do. So every action can have a different URL, and then you can have showing different things and doing different actions. This is just a very, very simplified example of what you can do over here. So let's just view it one more time. I'm going to run this again, and I'll show you the other action we did. So other action will just redirect to formtitan.com, which is wonderful. And now let's just hook this up to a process builder just to finish the. You should understand the concept by now, but let's just create a quick and dirty process builder to invoke this flow, and this flow can be invoked from anywhere else. So let's get a new one, and we'll call this invoke advanced Titan push notification. All right, let's change the name, the API name, and we'll select the record changes and hit save, and we'll add an object, say account, and when record is created or edited, and what I will say in the condition is, let's say validate, what we're going to say here, the account rating, choose, we'll do is changed equals true, and that will basically trigger my flow, and my action will be, let's do flows, and we'll say run advanced notification, and here is my flow, Titan push notification advanced, and I need to set a value, and the account ID is field reference, and we're going to pass in our account ID, and we'll hit save and activate, and now when I'll go and update my account with a new rating, I'll get a push notification. I didn't mention here the power of this thing is that right now we're looping over all the contacts. Right now, if I had another PNOth on this guy, he will get a notification as well. Since this is what we've done, is just get all the contacts of the account, check if we have PNOth. If there is PNOth, push it to the list, let Titan notify them something has changed, and what has changed is up to you to decide. Obviously, that's the power of what we give you here. All right, so let's try this out. I'll head over to the account details. I'll change the rating, and we should get a push notification. All right, so I'm going to change it from cold to hot, and save this. This is what will power my process builder. Process builder will call the flow, and the flow does all the fun. Call Titan, and we end up with this beautiful notification with actions. You can view the account, other action, you can add more actions and make them more meaningful than I've done. And this is how it's done.